of her to see if she just wants me to set it to my calendar or if she needs to give me her dates too.
Okay. It'll be a while then.
Okay. I will stay close.
Alright, here we go.
Good morning. How are you? Good. Can I make sure you have my cell phone in case I leave?
You can make sure, but I'm just doing this.
Where did
Oh, you're
Mr.
just-
O'Donnell go?
Can I give it to you?
Probably in the back. Are you ready?
He's in the back.
Oh, we're ready.
Can I give it to you to give to Frida?
Absolutely.
There we go. She might already have it.
That's all right. We'll do this together.
Did Mitch
But
respond?
what case? If I don't know.
Huh?
For me, it's going to be the Bracy Smith case.
I've got to go to Macomb.
What time do you have to get there?
I got to go conduct an exam and then go to Macomb.
What courtroom?
So I need before noon.
I don't have a file, so you need to call them.
Oh, that'll happen,
Oh, I
I'm
will.
sure. But,
No, I got 2 exams to conduct.
I'm just going to call the case of dismissing as a confirmed.
Sure.
Where am I? Dana Hathaway?
Yeah.
Yes.
704 Dana Hathaway.
Judge Dana Hathaway's courtroom. Can I help you? No, this is... Well, he is presiding.
What do you do?
Yes. Okay, I have no idea who you are, what you're talking about, or I'm going to do a big sentencing. You can call back in about 20 minutes or so. Okay? Yeah, in about 20 minutes. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
And you can call the case.
Okay. This is case number 16459801FC, People versus Timmy Soto, here today for sentencing. He's also here on a pretrial, case number 1690401FC.
Counsel.
Good morning, Your Honor. John Casey, Command 56162 on behalf of the people.
And James O'Donnell on behalf of Mr. Timmy Soto.
And Mr. Soto pled guilty to homicide in the 2nd degree and felony firearm, both pleas taken by me on December 1st, 2016. This is the time and date set for sentencing. Let's deal first with the sentencing information report, which is always called the guidelines. The guideline range is 270 months to 450 months. People agree?
I believe that's correct.
And Mr. O'Donnell?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'll sign the sentencing information report. As to the Department of Correction report itself, Mr. O'Donnell, go ahead.
Well, first page it says I'm retained. I'm not retained.
Right, I knew that.
Okay. There is concern about an outstanding case for which he has not yet been sentenced. I just spoke to Mr. Casey. We're going to have to schedule another sentencing date because it's not up to date as far as I know. It's number 8 of 9 on the list of offenses as an adult. Other than that, Judge, we have no additions or corrections to be made.
Well, what was the outcome in that case?
He pled, he didn't return to be sentenced, and it's still pending.
So there was a capias?
Apparently, yes. I was unaware of it until just now.
Well, Mr. Casey, do you want me to proceed with that case as well?
The case number is, give me a minute.
Or is this a
15,
surprise to you?
7457.
What was the charge?
FA, 3 counts.
There may have been a sentence agreement in that one.
I can't imagine it would be anything but concurrent with this.
I believe it would be.
He is in habeas status, Judge.
He is?
It was never addressed. Out with the Judge Robertson. So he'd have to look on his phone.
Well, just one moment.
Well, let's see if we can get them to dismiss it.
Set up on the one. All right.
Do you have any authority to dismiss that case?
No. I think it's through our domestic violence unit.
Well, I'm not going to send for them at this point, but I'll set aside the capious Mr. Soto is going to prison today, so it's, if they want to do something about it, they're gonna have to root him out. In any event, as to the rest of the matter, Mr. O'Donnell.
No additions or corrections, Your Honor.
And for the people, Mr. Casey.
Your, the victim's son David, his daughter Christina are both here. Want to address the court?
He can stand up in the jury box by the microphone. And would you, ma'am, would you tell me your name?
My name's Christina Madrigal.
And the person with you is?
This is my brother, David Madrigal.
And under the Victims' Rights Act, you can make a statement, that's what you wish to do,
Yes.
but you can only address the court, not the defendant, you understand?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Gosh, it's hard to begin, but I'd like to start by saying that today is my nephew, my brother's son, my father's only grandchild's 2nd birthday. And it's devastating that instead of celebrating as a family that Arlo turned 2 today, we're here making sure that my dad gets some sort of justice because he was killed for $1,000. He dedicated his life to the city, to the Detroit Fire Department. He actually had a retirement party planned when he died. He had already had Belle Isle rented. There's so many things to say about him. Just a wonderful,
Take your
wonderful
time.
guy. Him and I had a special relationship. As a firefighter, he risked his life saving the lives of strangers. And as a nurse myself, I save lives for a living as well. And there was a particular time where I had a patient that reminded me a lot of my dad, and he had a daughter who was watching him die, reminded me a lot of myself. And I remember calling my dad at the end of the day, crying and just saying, I couldn't imagine being her. I couldn't imagine living without my dad. And how hard it was that as a nurse I wasn't able to fix it. I wasn't able to save this person. And he told me, it reminded him of one time when he went into a burning building to save this guy's life, and he tried, and the guy didn't make it. And we just had this really special bond, I think more than a lot of people do with their father. We miss him, his friends, his family, the city, the community of Southwest Detroit. He loved the children there. They looked up to him. He loved showing them the fire truck, and it was a low-income area, and he always made sure those kids knew, you can become a firefighter, you can do this. I want to show you the truck, I want to show you the engine. He loved it. So many pictures of him and some of the kids on the truck. There's no words to explain what the world is missing now. He was 59 and taken way too early. It was a blatant disregard for human life. There's so many things I want to say that, I can't think of them right now, but justice is all we can hope for now, because my dad won't be able to come back. One other thing I do want to say, though, no matter how long these people or whoever are in prison, there's visiting hours, and they get to see their family still. But I don't get to see my dad ever again. I get to see pictures, and I get to remember all the good times we had together, but I don't get to ever see him again. And that's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Kate, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'd like to start by thanking Detroit Homicide for taking care of business throughout this whole thing. They did their job and they did it well. I'd also like to thank the court and you, Judge, for doing your job as well. John Casey, you guys all did everything you could. I knew from the get-go, no offense to anybody, but I knew from the get-go justice would not be served. Saying justice was served throughout this whole thing is an insult to the word justice. Unfortunately, we are bound by the laws that we have, and that's all we can do. So I'll just leave that at that. My father was born in Detroit, raised in Detroit, worked in Detroit. He tried to protect the city that he loved with all his heart. When everybody left the city, he chose to stay. He did not have to stay, he chose it. He loved that city. He ultimately died in that city. He was taken out while sleeping by a coward. He should have gone down fighting, but instead, somebody chose a different route. There's not much to say about that. What's done is done. All I can say is I hope Detroit takes care of business on the inside. I hope that this animal over here doesn't last a week. And I don't see a bitch like him lasting a week.
Mr. Casey, anything further?
Regarding that, people, loss of Mr. Madrigal was, of course, a tragedy for his family, for the community as a whole. The sentence proposed today will, and the obligations that Mr. Soto has pursuant to that plea agreement, be a good way to put an end to a sad story. It's almost a little under a year to the day since it happened. About a week shy.
Mr. Soto, anything that you care to say?
Yes, I like to say, I apologize to the family for what I did. I know I was wrong. I wasn't in the right state of mind. I like to apologize to my family for putting them through this stress. And I like to apologize to my kids for putting them through this too. That's all I got to say.
Well, I don't generally make comment during sentences because typically my words fall on deaf ears, but the last firefighter's case that I handled was Walter Harris's death, also a homicide. That one happened during the course of his combating a fire, and I said at the time, what I repeat now, a society that doesn't have very high regard for first responders, firefighters, police officers, EMS technicians, nurses, is a society that's on a path to self-destruction. I accepted this plea having regard for what else could happen in the course of a trial, and I'm satisfied that the plea does, if not give justice to the family, some closure. Accordingly, it's the sentence of the court on the charge of felony firearm. Mr. Soto, you be committed to the state prison for 24 months with credit for time served in the amount of 332 days. Consecutive to that, you must serve a term for homicide, murder in the second degree of 456 months to 800 months. There are several conditions. You agreed to terms of the agreement for special conditions that was signed by the parties on December the 1st, and the people will dismiss the notice to enhance your sentence as a habitual third offender and dismiss docket 16904, counts 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That's a separate file. Mr. Soto, you may appeal this conviction and my sentence by application for leave to appeal, and a form will be furnished you to indicate the manner in which you can take an appeal. However, your signature on that form does not indicate that you have begun an appeal. Thank you.
Your Honor, as to the issue of restitution, speaking with David Madrigal, that he did submit a...
Oh, yes, I have that. I'm sorry. So you must pay restitution in the amount of $14,517.30, pay $136 state cost, a crime victim assessment fee of $130, court costs of $1,300, and an attorney fee of $400.
Judge?
Yes.
Mr. Soto is asking whether or not you can delay the implementation of court costs and fees for approximately 2 years.
No, absolutely not.
This signature says that you know you have rights. They're going to give you a piece of paper you can begin your Judge, Mr. Soto has reviewed and signed his notice of appellate.
Thank you.
John, do you have a restitution form?
How are you? Can I get that information for the case we just did? You got something about the case number first?
16?
Yeah.
4598.
Last name is spelled S-O-T-O.
Yeah. Timmy Lynn, Lynn.
Yeah, in one.